Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Keys, and today we're going to go head to head against Iron Banner's Haakon's Hatchet and Trials of Osiris's Doctrine of Passing. These are both high rate of fire, low impact auto rifles, which seems to be pretty dominant in the Crucible right now. Both of these have very fantastic stats, and which one's better? I don't know. We'll have to watch the video to see. The rate of fire on the Haakon's Hatchet is 88, max stability of 98, and max aim assist of 84. On the Doctrine of Passing, the fire rate is 100 with a max stability of 81 and an aim assist of 66. There are some other stats in there, but those are really the three most popular stats when we're looking at these sort of weapons and putting them head to head. So the first is a Doctrine of Passing. On mine I have Fast Draw IS, Red Dot ORA, and OEG Rifle Scope. I also have Persistence, so the weapon grows more accurate the longer it is fired. I have Extended Mag, Small Bore, which increases range and stability but reduces mag, and then increases stability and reduces mag with Brace's Frame. So Braced Frame is what I went with. And Counterbalance, this weapon has increased stability. This weapon really does not recoil a whole lot, very easy to control what recoil it does have. My Haakon's Hatchet is the vendor one that was sold by Lord Saladin, Red Dot OAS, which gives you the snapshot sight, which is amazing for quick engagements. I have Quick Draw IS and Focus Lens FLS2. I have Rangefinder on my second tree. My third tree has Perfect Balance, Appended Magazine, increased magazine size, lower reload, and Reinforced Barrel, increased range and reduced stability. And then on my last tree, I have Counterbalance on this as well, which increases my weapon stability. Now when you do the comparison, you can see that the rate of fire and the reload is higher on the Doctrine of Passing, but the Haakon's Hatchet has a higher impact and increased range. So it's a couple trade-offs between the two, and it really depends what you like. You'll see the recoil pattern on both weapons is vertical, but the recoil rate on the Doctrine of Passing does go up a little bit faster than Haakon's Hatchet. Having said that, both are extremely easy to control, so that really should not be an issue for you guys. The Doctrine of Passing can unload its magazine in under 3 seconds. It fires 95 damage to the head at 53 rounds in the magazine, which equates to 5,130 damage per clip or per 3 seconds. The Haakon's Hatchet is very similar. It does 125 damage to the head and has 36 bullets in the magazine, which equates to 4,500 damage per clip in the same amount of time. So although you're getting more damage per shot out of the Haakon's Hatchet, the magazine size of the Doctrine's Passing makes it a much more viable weapon in PvE. Now, when you're in PvP, the Doctrine of Passing is a fantastic weapon. It pairs very nicely with a shotgun or with a sniper rifle, even fusion rifles, which are now becoming pretty prominent. And what helps this weapon shine in PvP is its fast fire rate and its ability to semi-stagger your opponents. As you can see, as I'm shooting different enemies in PvP, they're staggering a little bit, so their shots returning to me aren't always hitting. So it does give you a bit of an advantage. It's not as fun sitting there just spamming the trigger, but it's pretty satisfying when you can kill many people in a very short span of time. This is a fantastic weapon to use and is good in multiple situations. I don't necessarily recommend it for a long engagement, but any sort of short and middle range combat scenarios, this weapon is absolutely fantastic. And the reload speed and magazine size give you a real leg up against other auto rifles that you'd come up against in your PvP battles. Next up is the Haakon's Hatchet. This as well is a very fantastic weapon. Definitely one of the best auto rifles in the game as well, if not the best. It's great from short, middle, and it does actually outperform the Doctrine of Passing in my personal experience from a long range. I think that might have to do with a little bit better recoil, plus that increased range as well. You don't have the damage drop off quite as much as you would with the Doctrine of Passing. The low magazine does mean that you're going to be reloading a lot more, and with a slower reload speed than the Doctrine of Passing, sometimes you can put yourself into situations where you run out of ammo, but there's still 1 or 2 enemies around you, whereas the Doctrine of Passing would give you enough bullets to take out 2 or 3 people in a particular mob. I do like, however, the damage output of this weapon over the Doctrine of Passing. If you do land your shots, you can kill people much quicker, but again, it really comes down to kind of having that magazine size. The Doctrine of Passing will take out mobs of 2 to 3 people very easily, sometimes up to 4. With Haakon's Hatchet, it really levels out at 3 max. It's usually 2 per magazine, but it really depends on the type of engagements you're with and the team that you're with as well. Personally, I do like both weapons. It really depends on the map as well. In maps where you want to have closer engagements, the Doctrine of Passing seems to be more prominent. When you have maps where engagements are middle to long range, I find Haakon's Hatchet does a little bit better. So, who's the winner? Personally, for me, it really came down to the Doctrine of Passing being able to outperform in more situations. For myself, I do like to snipe as well, so I find in those long engagements I'm pulling out my sniper, so I didn't use my Haakon's Hatchet as much. So that was one of the key factors. The other factor was the reload speed. You get in a lot of tight situations where you need a large magazine and a good reload speed, and the Haakon's Hatchet just doesn't really deliver in the same sense that the Doctrine of Passing does. I know by equipping different perks on your weapon, you could get to that point, but then you'd be sacrificing things such as range or stability, which are very important for these high rate of fire auto rifles. Well, everyone, that wraps up the head-to-head between Iron Banner's Haakon's Hatchet and Trials of Osiris' Doctrine of Passing. Hopefully this video has been pretty informative, and it's going to help you make your decision as to what gun would work best for you based on your playstyle and the map that you're going to be playing on. Don't forget to hit like button, subscribe, and see you in the Crucible.